comes down. Happy New Year!
You didn't seem very committed to that.
Well, I realized that we forgot our New Year's hats and everything last night. We should have brought them home.
So what you're saying is that we started the new year off horribly.
We ruined it for everyone.
Happy New Year! Yippity-dippity-doo!
All right, that's a bit much.
What? I feel like that's just the reality of life with me.
That too.
You're going to be saying that for the next 50 years. What is happening, everybody? It is January 1st. It is the first day of the new year.
Yay!
No post office today, so that's kind of nice if you don't feel like doing some shipping today. So we're skipping it.
Yep, no shipping.
But it is Wednesday, so it's Boss Up and List Day. We didn't do it last week because it was Christmas Day. But
we figure a lot more people are home on New Year's Day than Christmas Day.
I mean, I've never really felt like, oh, New Year's Day, you got to like take the day off and go do stuff. Usually, I guess people are recovering or something, but yeah.
Meh. Nothing to recover from.
Yeah, we did stay up late, and since we're old,
there was that. There was some minor recovery required from staying up late.
Yeah. Anyway, hey everybody, I hope you all had a good New Year's Eve. Nobody's hurting too much today. We did go to a friend's house to just basically hang out and watch TV and watch a movie and
we were woohoo, party animals.
Yeah, have a couple of drinks, but then we came home like pretty soon after midnight so that we could hopefully miss any the excessive traffic and potential
craziness from people leaving the
drunk
strip.
drivers. I will say, guys, we had an amazing moment of instant justice happen right before our very eyes last night.
Oh, jeez.
Now, I've said this before, Las Vegas, I don't care what any of y'all say, Las Vegas has, hands down, ET finger up, the worst drivers in the United States, I believe. And
I think New York City might rival it.
But see, I was just going to say, I lived in New York City for 2 years. I rode my bike everywhere in New York City, on the New York City streets, no less. And Vegas drivers are absolutely the worst. Oregon drivers, very, very predictable. They can be slow, and that can be obnoxious sometimes because they're overly cautious, but you can predict that everyone's going to be following the rules. New York City is very aggressive, and can feel a little chaotic, but again, relatively predictable. The thing about Las Vegas is everybody is like, I don't even know. It's crazy.
I was going to interrupt Bonnie and say, she says that Rhode Island drivers are the worst. Rhode Island drivers are pretty bad, but they call you massholes for a reason. Come on now. We all know that Boston drivers are awful. Anyway, I think everybody can complain about drivers in different cities and states. We all know bad drivers and have seen bad drivers, but your little bit of karma.
What? Oh, so just let me fit. I know my story's long-winded, damn it.
It never ends. It never ends.
Anyway, Vegas, very unpredictable. People run red lights, and not just the first car, but 5 cars will go through the same red light. It's terrible. Terrible traffic accidents, and people drive like maniacs. So last night, I was driving like maybe 67 miles an hour. It was in the 65 mile an hour zone. And this car went by us so freaking fast. Like it had to be going 90 miles an hour because they just like whoosh, flew right past us, which
right near the strip,
which at any time is a bad idea, but especially at a time when traffic is, people are potentially driving inebriated. Anyway, they went by. I basically yelled for like half a second and then immediately saw cop lights and we were like, woohoo! And they got pulled over and it was awesome. I felt pretty good.
That was some good.
It felt good, man.
In action.
Yeah, it felt good. I was like,
I'm just glad they got pulled off the road that quickly.
Oh yeah, it was fast, and I'm like, I hope they were really pulling that person over, and they were. So they had a good start to their year. Jerks. Anyway, Happy New Year. So Boss Up and List Day. What is that?
It is our all-day virtual listing party that we hold in the Boss Facebook group. The link to which is down below. If you're not in the Boss Facebook group, you should be. We think it's the coolest Facebook group. I have to say we hit 5,000 members this week. And here's the thing. I know that 5,000 there are many Facebook groups that have far greater numbers than we do, but our goal and Teresa's goal has never been to grow the group to be unmanageable. We wanted it to be a group of very active, involved individuals, not just people that post for the heck of posting, people that make it actually feel like a community. And I think that's why we've grown so slowly, and I'm okay with that. I think we're all okay with that. We have some great admins that are very active. Teresa went and looked through a lot of the stats. When you own a Facebook group, you have, or admin a Facebook group, you have a lot access to a lot of statistics that tell you, Teresa, numbers geek, right? Have a lot of statistics that tell you how many people are active in the group and what the percentage of activity is and active participants and things like that. And I think she saw, what were we, 88%. 88% of our members, of those 5,000 members, are active, meaning they comment on posts, they post themselves, they like or they interact in posts in some way, shape, or form. 88% out of that 5,000 is huge.
Yeah, it's really big.
Most Facebook groups hover around the 20 to 30% active participants.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks volumes to the type of group that we have, and that we try to keep it as a positive, uplifting group. Don't get me wrong, we have negative Nellies in there. We've been negative Nellies in there. It happens, especially when we're dealing with the catastrophes that we've dealt with some of the things that have happened with eBay over the last year. But that's okay. The whole point, that's reality. Businesses has ups and downs, and so do people's moods about their businesses.
Yeah.
But what we try to do, and what we've tried to do overall, is to keep it a positive group where we don't dwell on the negatives over and over and over. I like that. We will let people complain about things, but we want it not to just be a random complaint. We want it to be, okay, if we've got to talk about an issue, we've got to talk about solutions.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, back in my old college years and working in nonprofits and stuff like that, one of the things I learned about doing is this plus delta exercise, where it's kind of a way of debriefing like an event or an experience or whatever. And the whole idea is that, you go around the room and everybody comes up with a positive thing about what happened. And then the delta, it's not a negative thing necessarily. It's something that you see that could be changed, but then you also have to offer up a solution. And it's just a more productive way of addressing something that needs to be changed and offering a solution at the same time. Because, we all like to complain sometimes. It happens. But at a certain point, it's like, if you're not figuring out a way to resolve it, then what's the point?
Yeah. We've never wanted to be a group that has 100,000 members. We truly don't. And that's why we keep it under a certain, I don't want to say a tight control, because we don't. We've actually only had to toss out maybe 3 or 4 people in the almost 2 years it's been a group. And they were just people that were not good fits and immediately came in and were negative or rude to other members. So it's never really happened.
I think it's not that we are actively keeping our numbers down. We certainly don't do that. I think what it is that we have a very specific tone that we set for the group, that we have, as far as our expectations of behavior within the group. And because of that, I think there are people who may join and then they realize maybe this isn't the group for me. And I think, there's a certain amount of, everybody likes different groups. Some people want to be in a group where it's a little bit more snarky and people can be more silly, but then it can kind of get to the point where people get their feelings hurt and stuff like that. And we just try to keep a group that we maintain that kind of positivity. We can be silly, but in a way that doesn't attack each other or make each other feel bad or anything.
So I want to quickly answer a question from eBay Reseller and Thrift King. So the mystery boxes are being shipped by Yesterday's Fits, not by us.
Yeah.
But just to let you know, the purchases were made Saturday night. They all shipped out on priority on Monday. So you should get it.
I don't. So Jesse,
so.
So Jesse had already he labeled them the day that they were made and that everybody ordered them.
He commented last night on the post.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
And so when I talked to him yesterday, he said, "Hey, if anybody asks, let them know these all went out on Monday." So they did go out on Monday. I don't know how their website works. I don't know how they do.
I don't know if they're updating tracking the way that they're doing these.
I'm assuming they must not, because obviously when we ship stuff out on eBay or on Etsy, it's it automatically updates the tracking for you. So they must not do that. So I'm just letting you know that they did go out. I don't know if you got a tracking number or what, but they definitely did go out. And
we don't have access to them, so you should definitely, if Jesse kept track of the tracking numbers.
Yeah, I will ask him.
He may or may not have, but message Yesterday's Fits directly on that for sure.
Yeah, I will ask.
They collected the money, they packaged and shipped the items.
Yeah, I will ask him myself if in the future they can put those tracking. I don't know. Again, I don't know how their website works. They have a Shopify website. I don't know. If they don't normally do that with the volume of their stuff, but maybe with these boxes, they can start.
He said he does have a tracking number. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, then they did go out on Monday. It might be the post office.
Yeah. They definitely went out.
Stinks.
So
they did go out.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of yesterday's fit, so they do have new boxes. I went yesterday. We got 20 boxes together. I have the link down below to the video that we posted last night for those new set of boxes. And in that video, in the description, there's the link to the website where you can get your own. They are going to be available today at 1 p.m. There are 20 boxes. It's going to be first come,
1 p.m.
serve.
Pacific time.
Yep.
So just under 2 hours from now. The link that is down below and the link under the video from yesterday and the link in the Facebook group will all get you there. First come, first serve.
Yeah.
Set yourself an alarm on your phone. Whatever, if it's something that you're interested in.
So this show will probably be done at noon, and then you'll have an hour. So you can go watch that video, which is only like 8 minutes long or 7 minutes long, something like that. And you can go ahead and order your own. I will say it's got some pretty cool stuff in it. I wanted us to show. So if you watch the video, you'll see there were like a bunch of these. Oh, what kind of pants what do you call those? Like,
they're like the MC Hammer pants. Not that you can call them that in the title, but you know those big baggy workout pants that are like not like
sort of like parachute pants.
Harem pants. Parachute pants were a certain material. Like harem pants is what they were. They were cinched at the waist, baggy at the legs, cinched again at the ankle.
Yeah.
Kind of like the joggers that are out now, but joggers are not quite as baggy.
Right. So they had like 11 pairs. And at first thing I thought was, oh my God, Vicky would love these. So basically, like I FaceTime Vicky and I was like, okay, you can pick out a few pairs, but that's it because we want to make sure that the bunch of them go in the boxes.
I didn't get them all.
I did not get them all. So I think like 5 or 6 of the boxes, I made sure that only one per box. So 5 or 6 of the boxes each got a pair of these pants. They're all dead stock as far as we can tell.
They're like Zubaz, but not as soft material. Zubaz was one of the brands. But yeah, they were not, these are not Zubaz brand. They're not as soft. They're a cotton. They're all cotton, but they're not the soft cotton that.
There was one pair that looked like it was faded, but I think it was like by design, and that was a little bit of a softer pair, and they're actually really, really cool, and they're in one of the boxes. But I did want to show, I did snag one pair for myself, and I'll show you why, because you know me and how I feel about listing pants. So it's better be special if I'm going to be willing to actually list a pair of pants. But I wanted to show them so you can see, like, these are just like the coolest pants. And then Vicky has one of her pairs that she's going to show. But the brand, have you heard this brand before?
No, I never did.
It's like CYA,
like cover your ass, CYA.
So right there in California, they're made in the USA. Look at these pants. So these ones, you can see why I wanted them, because they're like, the color's amazing, but they're covered in surfers, and
I think you gotta get the pattern closer so you can see that it's
you can see the surfers. And I feel like the camera's not doing justice to the vibrancy of these pants, but the color is just amazing. So these are the pants.
They're dead stock.
Fan freaking tastic.
They have volleyball. They have surfers.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They have surfboards. It's definitely like a SoCal type of thing. They look like Venice Beach pants, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the workout guys that would stroll up and down Venice Beach in the 80s.
They're amazing
with their half shirts.
Show your pair. Those are pretty fantastic too. Woo!
Do not adjust your screen. Yeah,
they're awesome.
Pretty cool. They have pockets, and then they have these little, the elasticized ankles. So they're like joggers, but they're baggier.
Yeah. Saxon Cole saying, where is the 25% off coupon? I know they're having a 25% off sale on their website, but that's not going to apply to
it's not going to apply to these boxes.
But anyway, so these pants, there's probably like another 5 or 6 pairs that are going out in these boxes. And I wanted to address something real quick because Vicky was doing research on them, and there's none listed right now anywhere, right? And you were able to find one pair that sold.
I mean, I only looked on eBay past 90 days. I didn't go look on Terapeak or I was doing some quick research. One pair sold. They sold for best offer for $33 or something like that.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to sell these for any less than $75 to $100 a pair. And so
So we want to say
underprice your stuff.
These are premium boxes. You're paying up for stuff. You don't want to race to the bottom, because I'm like, we were talking about this. There's like, basically all of a sudden there's going to be 10 pairs of these available. They're all different patterns, but you want to make sure that you're pricing them at a premium. It's not going to be good for any of the people who get these boxes if they immediately put them up for like $30, which would be silly if you're going to pay $150 for a premium reseller box to do that.
Yeah, you're not looking to sell a you know, if you paid $15 an item for the items in this box, you're not looking to quick flip them for $30. Could you? Sure, of course you could. But there is nothing that is that inexpensive that is going to be in these boxes.
Yeah.
So if you're paying up for premium items, which those of you that have bought these boxes or are going to buy the boxes coming up, that's what you're doing. You're not buying a reseller box where the items you paid $1 or $2 a piece for them so you can sell them for 15 or 20. There's that model as well, but that's not what these are.
Yeah.
So don't undersell yourself.
Yeah. So especially because if you've watched the couple of videos I've done on this, there's a variety of items in the box, a variety of levels of value. And so there's a couple of things in there that you might want to sell for like 25, but then there's going to be a couple pieces in there you're going to sell for a lot more. Things, ranging anywhere from $30 up to $75, or if you get some of the really cool stuff, even up to $100. Mm-hmm. And so you want to make sure that you're getting your best prices. But Allison said she just sold a used pair on Etsy for $60. So
yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to put them up for $125 or best offer, which is what Nate just said. That's pretty much where I'm going to put them, and it'll be the same on Etsy. I'll do free ship because they're clothing. I am changing some of my business model. I have started charging for shipping on a lot more items, and I'm probably going to continue charging and actually add shipping on all of my items going forward, just because I have found, for me, and again, this is everybody's business is different, so you do you. I have found that free shipping is not as cost effective as it used to be, and it is also not a drive for most of my items. I am not selling commodity items, Coldwater Creek or Kohl's brand items or JCPenney items where there is, competition of 50 to 60 or 80 of a very similar thing in the same size. Most of what I'm selling, you're not going to find anything like on eBay, or maybe there's maybe a handful of items. So because of that, if somebody wants my items, they're going to pay a reasonable shipping fee. So I feel confident that I don't need to worry about having free shipping built into my pricing in order to drive it up in search, because there's not going to be a lot of mine that are like mine in search. Yeah. That's what happens when you sell a lot of vintage or unique items. You don't have to worry about competition, because if somebody likes it, they like it. And it is a long tail thing, and that's okay. I'm okay with that business model. So for me, I have started about 5 months ago, I changed my first class items to $3.95 for shipping, or $3.75, I think. $3.75 shipping. And I know that does not cover the shipping on all of them. It's a flat fee. Sometimes I pay a couple of dollars. Sometimes I make 50 cents or something. And I'm okay with that because it's a reasonable fee and it doesn't look unreasonable to a buyer. It's just a flat, it's just to recoup some of my cost. And I'm going to be doing the same thing on priority. On my larger items, I do charge shipping. And I make up a flat fee for the most part, the larger heavy items. But I think on anything I do priority, I'm going to change to $5.95.
Now, I still do free shipping on everything. So that just, it goes to show you that everybody's going to have their own way of doing it. And I would suggest that you play around. There's no reason why you can't try out different ways and see what works for you. Because some people swear by free shipping. Some people swear by charging shipping. It all just depends on how you feel about it. And what works for you. Yeah. So Reseller Project says she loses money with free shipping overall.
It depends on what you sell, what you sell and where your margins are. Free shipping does not work for everybody. And because I play around with really high profit margins, and I'm always doing sales and best offers and offers to watchers and that kind of thing. Once you start factoring in free shipping on a lot of that stuff, shipping costs have, nearly quadrupled in the last 5 years. Yeah. And when I started doing free shipping, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. It just doesn't make sense for me to do that anymore. And again, it's like this business. This business is ever changing. You need to change with your business. You need to evaluate and reevaluate, if not at least once a year. This is a good time to reevaluating your business. If not once a year, maybe several times a year when things change. So I don't know about anyone else, but that might be a good segue to start talking about.
Well, it is a good segue, except I had one more thing I wanted to show really quick. Sorry.
I'm shocked.
Sorry. Well, so I was hanging out at yesterday's Fits, and Jesse goes, "Hey, did you see those gecko shorts that I showed on Instagram on our story?" And I'm like, "Oh, I never look at the stories. I'm terrible about that." And so he showed me the picture. I'm going to share the screen really quick just because I think it. Hold on a second. Share the screen. Anyway, he's like, "Yeah, I just showed these shorts. Look at how awesome they are." And I'm like, "Those are amazing." And I was like, "Did you tag Gecko Hawaii in your post?" And he's like, "No, should I?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because they'll probably want to buy them from you." because they're always looking for their old styles because they're doing the whole resurgence of these styles and everything, including kind of like the pants that we have. But anyway, so he did it, and I like literally in 5 minutes, he just messaged me and said, we'll take them. So he like sold them like that. I just thought that was super cool. That's all. Sorry I ruined your day.
Do you want to get the Yesterday's Fits kids in here to co-host the show with you?
No, I just thought those were super cool. All right, so let's talk about, I don't know. Basically, we just have like a really broad topic of leaving 2019 behind. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with 2019 being gone. 2019.
I thought you were gonna say, oh, I was totally okay with 2019. I was gonna be like, well,
2019 was a crappy year. Business wise, I did well. I'm waiting for some of my final numbers. But business wise, I think I did somewhere around $130,000 or $140,000 a year for gross for the year, which is where I wanted to be. I think it could have been better had Q4 been what it should have been. It was in December what it should have been, but October and November were much lower than they were even last year. So with a lot of the glitches that happened, they did affect me. They didn't affect everyone, but they affected me.
I think for you, like, because your year was so amazing from like the beginning, like from January of 2019.
I had a great year, and then we hit October 1st, and it went.
And considering that normally, like, you hit October and then that's when the sales really start rolling in. For you, it's like you had this crazy year that was just so consistent all the way through.
I was really looking forward to having a great Q4.
Is just kind of a bummer. It's like you didn't get that like last reward, but you still killed your numbers compared to last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did see between a 30 and 40% increase in my numbers overall. I will say I paid up a little bit more for items this year. So I know that my cost of goods is going to be higher. I don't know where I'm going to end up, numbers wise overall, but I can say adding Etsy for me, Etsy was $15,000 this year. Or last year, $15,000. Mercari was just about $1,000, which is not fantastic, but I was only doing it for 2 months and I only had 100 items listed.
Yeah.
I think I did about $1,000 on Bonanza, maybe a little bit more than that. I think I did just a few $100s on Amazon, and then the majority was on eBay. So for me, all of those added revenue streams that don't cost me anything extra to put other than time to put in, that helped grow the business. So I'm excited to at least maintain, if not grow this year. I intend personally, I have a couple of goals. So if we want to talk about what are our goals, right? So for me, I'm going to be changing up some of my shipping stuff. Like I just said, adding some shipping. I am going to be adding Poshmark and probably hiring, once I get myself up on Posh, hiring a Posh assistant to do the sharing and things like that, the minutia that I don't want to do, so that I can help increase it with another revenue stream. My other goal this year is to find a better work-life balance. I think Katie and I have that same goal because we both work a lot. I think I think we all work a lot, but I think as entrepreneurs, you get out what you put into your businesses. And we have spent the last 2 years working really, really hard to grow our businesses, and it's worked. But by the same token, our personal lives, I think, have suffered a little bit from that. So I think we're going to get far more consistent with not only every Saturday night a date night, but one full day off a week every week. That is my goal. One full day off a week every week. I guess I'll come with you. That means no listing, no shipping. We could maybe source because we love to do that, but that would not be the goal. The goal would be go do things with friends, go do things together, go take a day and go to the beach, whatever. But one full day a week, no work. Whether that's going to be Saturday or Sunday remains to be seen, but it will happen. Yeah. And I think, I want that too. I think, like, for me, like this last year, as far as business goes, I did okay. I think I'm probably going to end up being close to what I was last year, maybe a little bit more, but that's only because of Etsy. I mean, Etsy, I think I hit about $28,000. So I think my eBay's down. I'm assuming my eBay's down a little bit, but the Etsy's coming in to kind of take care of that gap, which is kind of a bummer because you would hope that, you brought in $28,000 on another platform. You would hope that would be on top of what you made the year before.
But as far as like finding the work-life balance and stuff like that, I think that's going to be a lot more doable, because for me, you know, I haven't come to the point yet where I'm ready to hire somebody. I'm still focusing on looking for better pieces and bringing my average sale price up even higher. And I think that that's one of the things that like I could potentially see a big shift in for with being able to source more things like from yesterday's fits and stuff like that. Because yes, I'm paying up for more for my inventory more. But I'm bringing in a lot of stuff that's like, you know, instead of just having like maybe 1 or 2 really cool pieces a week and the rest of it being just like basic vintage, I'm bringing in lots of really cool pieces every single week. And I think that's going to elevate my store for people who are following my store, people who like to shop for my kind of stuff that I list. I think that's going to bring in higher, you know, I can do a lot more with less time.
Right.
And so it's going to be easier for me. You know, I've shifted. I used to do Thursdays where I'd go and do all of my sourcing. Now I've been doing it earlier in the week. And what that means is, for instance, you know, I got all my stuff yesterday that I'm going to be taking pictures of this week. And I was just talking to Vicky. I'm like, oh, there's a sale you want to go to on Friday. And I'm like, I think I'm going to do all my pictures tomorrow. So, you know, this week it's like, I'll have all my pictures done on Thursday. And so Friday, it won't be a big deal to like go and take the morning or however much of the day that Vicky wants to take and go and do sourcing with her, get some listing done when we come home. And then if we want to take Saturday off, we can take Saturday off. And it's like, and I'm not going to feel, because it's hard for me because I like to work. I do like to work. And a lot of times I feel the pressure to get a lot of stuff done. But because maybe like my listing volume is going to come down a little bit, I'm not going to feel as much of that pressure to where I'm not going to want to take a full day off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of have to force her. It's really hard to get Katie to take an entire day off. And yes, we travel a couple of weeks and we have friends that come visit, and we, you know, traveling and trips are very hectic, and there is a lot usually sourcing involved. So it's not entirely vacation, so to speak. I do have 2 people that are working for me part-time. I do have Dana that still works for me once a week or once every other week. And, you know, she works at about 4 or 5 hours every other week. Now, is that enough? Not necessarily. So I do need to, and I have someone that has started taking photos for me, and she's worked a couple of times so far, and it's working out well. So I think that, you know, I may increase her time, and we'll see how Dana feels. I know Dana's wanting to phase herself out completely, and I can appreciate that and understand that. She's doing well with her own business. So, you know, maybe this other person might want to start doing some listing for me. She is an eBay seller, so she knows how to list. So you know, I've got to work on that so that I have more consistent help, so that I have a solid 10 to 12 hours a week that I have someone working for me, and I can delegate some of that work in order to keep my business level where I want it to be. I need to have that help to be at that level, because I list more items than Katie does. And not to say that it's any different or more difficult, but I am listing on 3 platforms with the help of List Perfectly. That has been a game changer for me. But I'm listing more items, and they're more difficult in some ways because it's all different. Where, you know, Katie can do a lot of sell similars on sweatshirts and jackets and t-shirts because that's pretty much what she sells primarily, and then just plug in the particulars of that item. Every listing that I do doesn't really have a template, so it takes a lot of time. It does. And it's true that like I do need to be forced to do stuff, but part of it is that I am a creature of habit, and I really like having a routine. And so when it's in my head, like this is the day I do this is the day I do that, it's hard for me to come around to changing that. But then once I do, then it's different. And so I think it's like, if we set, it's like how we do our Saturday date night. We do that every Saturday, and we're pretty consistent with it. The only time it doesn't happen is if we happen to go out multiple times earlier in the week, or we're like, yeah, we've done enough this week. We're like, okay, I think we're good as far as socializing or going out. We're good. So, and that was really just about being like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And now this is how it is moving forward. So if we were to do like, okay, Saturdays is our day off, and maybe like that's the day we go meet up with our friends and have brunch, because we want to start doing some trying different breakfast places around the city. If that becomes like the regular thing, and I work that into my regular schedule, for me, it's going to be a lot easier, because I have a harder time being like spontaneous, because I feel like I already had planned to do this today and I don't want to throw that out. It's hard for me to sometimes you have to accept
the person that you're with for who they are and work around that. And so for me, it's knowing ahead of time.
And we do our show on Sunday. So Sunday is never going to be a full day off because it's right in the middle of the day. We do our show. So it's not like we can go somewhere and do something.
Yeah.
Most of the time we end up going to parties and cookouts and things like that late on Sundays because we do our show. Now I love doing our show on Sundays, but it does get inconvenient in the summer.
Yeah,
for sure, because people want to do things, pool party days and stuff like that, because most people don't work weekends like us. So I think
Saturday off.
I think taking Saturday off is a good compromise. So Saturday might be the day off.
Yeah, I would be down for that.
And that would include us doing garage sales in the morning, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, if you want to. Anyway, so yeah, let's see. Victoria Smith says, pro tip for 2020. For those of you who have been doing it, keep track of your mileage every single time. Every 2 miles you drive is a $1 tax write-off.
It's true. Mileage write-offs are huge. They keep increasing every year because, gas is expensive and the wear and tear on your vehicle can be expensive. So keep yourself a mileage log, whether you keep it using an app or you have something in your car, or if you're like me and you keep a little notebook and just try to jot down every week where you've been and what you're doing. When you work from home, it's pretty easy to keep track because you don't leave except you're going to the post office or going sourcing or something, but definitely keep track. And someone asked further back, are we going to have Mark, not your dad, CPN? Yes, we are.
So we really want to wait till after all of the tax forms come in, because you get, if you hit a certain level, then you're going to get your tax forms from PayPal and everything like that, because there's a lot of things that are kind of iffy as far as like how are the sales taxes going to work, and and so I think we really want to wait for like those to come in. I think so Mark can see exactly how PayPal is accounting for that money coming in and out of our accounts. We're not exactly
because
sure.
We don't know what it's going to look like yet. We want to make sure that he sees it, has time to digest it, and we can all speak intelligently on it, especially the tax man.
And what that means for actually filing your taxes if you're working with a CPA like him or doing it yourself. So
yeah, Danny, I'm similar with that because we do track mileage because we do garage sales every week. So we do have a loop. So we get a general idea of where we start and where we end. And, the sourcing loop that we do, stuff like that. So we do keep a general idea. Keeping a notebook is a great idea. Like I said, there are several apps that keep mileage. It's a good way to keep it because it is something, and don't get me wrong, you don't have to have it down to the penny, but you need to have a good idea of what your mileage is.
So Allison says, it's time to let the stale inventory go for cheap. I need to buckle down and list too, because we're taking the family to Hawaii for 10 days at the end of January. Yeah, for sure. You gotta get some cash money rolling in. And you did that. Did you do that last year too?
She did.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yep. Oh, look, the Violet Lemon. We haven't seen you in here forever.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, the Violent Lemon, as Katie.
Yeah, it's my favorite
Katie
punk
calls
band.
her.
It's my favorite all ladies punk band.
Yeah.
The Violent Lemon. So just saying. Anyway, Happy New Year to you. And then the other part of, I don't think you addressed this yet, the other part of what we really want to do is this last year, as far as taking care of our bodies physically, we have not been great about that.
We've been real bad.
You get stressed, and then
let's not talk about the scales this morning.
Yeah, you get stressed, and then it's like the last thing you want to think about is trying to eat healthy and taking care of yourself. And it's just, that's one of the easiest things to kind of let go. And the reality is, it's like after a while, like I get sick. I honestly, like, I feel good when I'm eating healthier, but sometimes you just get caught up in what's faster is just easier. And so, we've talked about it before. I think like a month and a half ago, you were like, January 1st. And so then for me, I was like, oh, I got a month and a half to just like go crazy. And like a few weeks ago, I weighed myself and I was like, oh, I'm still less than I was the last time I decided I needed to make a change and lose some weight. So I'm doing pretty good. So apparently then it was like all bets are off, because I weighed myself this morning because I wanted to start. And I'm not somebody who gets weird about like dieting or weight or anything like that. But I wanted to have like the beginning baseline. And I said something to her and she was like, I'm not weighing myself. And I'm like, whatever. So I went and did myself because I wanted to have that baseline of where I was going from that. And I was like shocked. I feel like I should win some sort of award, because man, if I was like, I don't know, prepping for some sort of role where I had to pack on some pounds, I did a pretty good job in just a few weeks. Let me tell you that. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm just gonna say.
No. No.
Anyway, so we are like, after we get done with the show today, we're actually we're going to go to lunch first, have a healthy lunch, and then we're going to go to the
So you
grocery
don't
store.
grocery shop hungry, because there's nothing worse than that, because we've all done that. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to make this. I'll eat this. This looks great. That looks great. And then you throw half the shit away.
Yeah.
So we are both back on the diet wagon. And I'm not saying
Back on
that
the
works for
healthy eating.
everybody. That does not work for everybody. But she and I both operate very similarly when it comes to that. We have to buckle down and make a plan and commit to it to make it work. I can't be like, oh, I'm just going to give up diet soda this week and I'll lose 10 pounds. No, I have to be almost militant about it to make it work.
Yeah.
And I have to be militant about it for a set period of time before I can allow myself to like, okay, I can have a cheat meal here, or I can, so
I'm one of those weird people that I don't like calling it a diet. I think that like I've been eating like shit. I've been eating bad stuff that really I shouldn't be eating in excess anytime. I mean, it's one thing to have, treats every now and then. But it's really just, I am 40 now, and I get that's not like super old or anything like that, but it's like, I do need to think about like taking.
Oh, I can own it. Listen, anybody that's known me for more than 2 years, and I know a few of you have known me for more than 2 years, anyone that's known me for more than 2 years, I've put on 45 pounds in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah. So I love food too. And so to me, I don't like the whole diet thing, like this thing of like, oh, now I have to eat, as Dana calls it, sad food. I love food. And actually once I get, it's all about the habit thing. Once I get to the habit of like eating healthier, like I love really good food, and you can do that eating more healthy and paying more attention to like what kind of foods that you're eating, what the ingredients are. Like we have this.
I know how to do it.
We all
know how to do it,
but we have this local meal prep company that we have gone to. We haven't done it in like a couple of months, but we're going to get back on that. And they're amazing, delicious meals. And they're like all under like 500 calories for one meal. They're really, really good. And they don't feel like you're eating diet food, because they're not diet food. They're just healthy meals.
Healthy portions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done keto. I tried keto. Katie did okay with keto. I'm not a fan of keto. For me, and I've done this lose weight thing before. I am a yo-yo dieter. This is the weight where my body goes when I'm lazy. And then when I try to lose weight and diet, that 40 pounds that I just talked about is pretty much where I should be, about 40 pounds later. And that's where I feel good about myself. So when I need to lose weight, the things that have worked best for me has just been eating healthy and counting calories and being very cognizant of what I'm putting in my mouth. And add that, getting up and moving and going to the gym a few times a week. So for me, paleo seems to be a diet that is easy for me, that I can stick to. It's just basically lean meats, proteins, and greens. It's nothing yellow, not a lot of fruit, not a lot of dairy, not a lot of nothing, no sugar, no very low carbs, no bread, no rice, no potatoes, that kind of thing. Yeah. So you just gotta just get into eating better. There's
a million different kinds of like diets and ways of doing it, but the reality is it's all math. It's calories in, calories out. And so for some people keto works for them.
Pretzels are probably one of the better snacks you could be eating. So I mean, pretzels are one of the lower.
For some people, keto works for them. For some people, like they do the whole one meal a day or intermittent fasting, but the reality is it's like, if you want to go eat a fancy meal or something like that, you can have like a cheat day where you go and have whatever you want, but that's like the one meal you have that day or whatever. But but most days having a more balanced diet. But there's like a million different things. If you want to have a freaking pixie stick because you need a sugar fix for that 1 minute, it's like 10 calories in a single pixie stick. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about for other people.
Yep. Everybody's different. Like Jill said, we're all different. Different things work for different people, different body types, everybody has a different metabolism, different lifestyle. So, anyway, this is not a whole diet show, but we talk about food a lot, clearly.
We like it.
Everybody loves food.
My big thing that I want to say though, is that for me, what's going to help a lot is not drinking beer. So one of my things I'm doing, I'm not calling it like a resolution, but whatever. It's basically what it is that for at least this first month, I'm going to say no beer. And that is going to make a big difference. She's probably going to get mad at me because I will lose a bunch of weight really fast and it's going to irritate her.
I don't drink really. So,
well, who knows? Maybe it's going to be different now that I'm 40. But I am one of those people where once I decide like, oh, okay, I'm going to lose weight and I just change my diet, it usually works pretty well. It doesn't.
You lose weight. She's like a man. She loses weight a lot easier than a menopausal 40+ woman. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, so here we go.
Anybody have any questions? We have, as always, this is also, it's our business show. So if you have any questions that you want help with.
Yeah. Does anybody have any, resolutions for their business? What would you like to do?
Well, I've seen a lot of people like making comments and saying about different things they want. But yeah, no beer. Honestly, for me, I found
Diane says, I want a beer right now. Working on taxes off by $5.63. Let it go. It's $5.63.
Yeah, let it go.
Don't stress yourself over that. My goodness.
Let's see. So Jamie says some of my goals are keeping up with bookkeeping, paying estimated taxes more often instead of big chunks, staying above my sales goal I hit last year, and work up to my next sales goal, which is big. Very, very cool. I know that for me, I really do need to expand more onto some other platforms, and maybe, I know, is Grailed officially on? Yep. Grailed has officially come to List Perfectly, so I might finally start doing the list. Again, guys, I'm resistant to change. I'm one of those people, actually, I do embrace change. Like, I'm not scared of change, but when I have like a routine in the way that I do things, well, no, but I'm also the one when big changes come to the platforms and stuff like that. I'm also one of those people who embraces it more quickly than others do. But when it comes to my routine, I am definitely resistant to it. So Grailed is one of the ones I want to add. I won't be putting everything onto them. It'll just be like the pieces that I think are much more valuable. And so that'll be like a much more curated. It's kind of like I have my eBay, which is everything. I have my Etsy, which obviously is just my vintage. So it feels a little bit more curated. And then I would have Grail, which would be the next step of curated, where it'll just be like the really good money pieces. And then of course I'm doing my Instagram, so I'll keep going with building that up and trying to do more with that.
So Keeping It Beachy says, I'm considering List Perfectly for the new year. What do you guys think? So we've talked about it a few times. I've been using it now consistently since October. Katie has yet to use the program. I love it. I can honestly tell you, I absolutely love it. And I am not using it anywhere near to the capability that I should be and that I intend to in the new year. So I have the Pro plan. And with the Pro plan, you can create your own templates. You can store your own templates. There's a whole lot of things you can do with the Pro plan that you can't do with some of the others, but definitely look and see, depending on what your needs are. There are 4 or 5 different options. They now have 7 different platforms that you can cross post to. I'm never going to use all 7. I may add, I am going to add Poshmark this year, but that's about it. It is so easy. I can tell you, I generally create my listing in eBay because eBay is the most detailed listing platform. So if I have everything completed correctly in eBay, then it transfers 95 to 98% of the item specifics and everything that you're going to need onto all the other platforms. So for me, that's the way I do it. You can also create your listing right in List Perfectly and do the same thing. So List Perfectly is just like eBay as far as it requires the most details. So if you put your information in there first, and then I take it and I'll cross post to Mercari and to Etsy for 90% of my items, let's say, the vintage anyway. One of them's going somewhere. So it takes under 2 minutes for me to cross post an item and go in and click all the little things you need to click. Once you get used to the other platforms, you'll see the things that aren't crossed that you need to go in and click off. But it takes your title, your description, your photos, usually your weight and your measurements, and about 90% of the stuff. It is so fast. I don't know what I did without this program before. I do know what I did. I paid somebody to cross post for me, and it took a lot longer because they had to download the photos and re-upload them and copy and paste. I absolutely love it. Now, if you want to use it as just a cross-listing tool and you want to take the bulk of your items that you have now on one platform and put them on 1 or 2 other platforms, there's no limit to how many listings you can cross-post.
So Caffeinated Christy wants to know about what about small part-time resellers? Is List Perfectly worth it?
It depends on your volume. I'm going to say it would be worth it for you for at least the small plan. And here's why. If you are a part-time seller, you have only limited time in which to do your listing and your cross posting to begin with. If you want to maximize the time that you have to devote to reselling, List Perfectly is a good way for you to get your items onto multiple platforms with very little time and effort that will help increase your revenue. That's how I feel about it.
And it pays for itself.
If you sell one item, that lower plan is only $30 a month, and that has 85% of what you're going to need as a small cross lister. So if you sell one item on another platform that you were not on previously, it's paid for itself.
Yeah. Well, and Allison Big Drift Thrift, she says she uses the $30 a month subscription and she's totally satisfied. And I wouldn't call her a small part-time reseller at all. And so, you know, it just depends, you know, however you want to use it. And then they have an awesome Facebook group, which I am in the group, even though I haven't officially started using it yet. But they are super, super available, and you can see what everybody's working on and any issues anyone's having, and you know, solutions and how different people are using it. So it's really helpful. So I saw somebody was asking.
Wait, did I see Rick is giving up Facebook? What? What
are you talking about? Where? I don't know.
Did Rick say he's giving up Facebook? Did you turn it off? No.
Yeah, I don't know. But real quick, Gary said he wants to try and start Instagram. Is it easy? This 53-year-old is confused. Let me tell you, Gary.
Gary, I'm 44.
Gary, let me tell you, I'm 40 and I get confused. I have a hard time with like the whole stories thing. Like I get how stories work. I understand what they are. But it's like wrapping my mind around like putting content up that disappears. I just don't get it. These youngins these days. But it's easy enough to start. So just start an account. It's easy to start an
account, follow other people and see what they do.
Start easy. It's like you were just uploading a picture and then start adding like put in some text in there, start learning a little bit about hashtags, just start doing it and playing around with it and following some other people like Vicki said.
Oh yeah, Rick said, I turned Facebook off for the next 3 months until I hit my new monthly sales and listing goals. All right, fair enough. Because we help run a Facebook group, more than one, because I have our meetup group as well. I really can't turn Facebook off, but I will say I'm very good and can be very disciplined about ignoring Facebook for several hours to get work done. So I will do that a little bit more this year.
Yeah,
I'm on Facebook a lot in the morning and a lot at night, but in the middle of the day, not as much.
Yeah, I hear you. A lot of times what I'll do is I just won't have a Facebook tab open. And one of the things I do, which I would suggest, challenge some of you guys to do this, is I will actually, on my phone, I have a lot of my notifications turned off. I mean, I always have it on silent, do not disturb anyway. But it is crazy, like how, if you've ever been around somebody who has, whether it's you or somebody else who has like what are you doing?
I wanted to be able to see this.
Oh, okay. If you ever have, you're around somebody, or maybe this is you, where you have your notifications on, even if it's just on vibrate, it's like every single time it vibrates or dings, you stop what you're doing. It interrupts your thought process. It interrupts what you're doing. You turn your attention to that. And it's not like you turn your attention to that for 2 seconds and then you're immediately back into what you're doing. Then you have to kind of almost reset and get back to where your brain was going at that moment. It is not good. There's no such thing as multitasking. There really isn't. You were doing one thing and then you were doing something else. And because you're switching back and forth, you're wasting that time in between. So finding a way to minimize like those notifications or dings or whatever, and maybe like turning off, not having, you don't necessarily have to turn off Facebook completely like Rick did, but not even having a Facebook tab open while you're working, or even be like, I don't know, 2-hour period of time. And then you pretend like you're at a real job and you are just an employee.
Set a timer.
You've got a 15-minute break and you've got a half-hour lunch or 45-minute lunch. And on your 15-minute break, it's like, okay, I'm going to go look at Facebook and I'm going to see what's going on. Like you can do that. You just need to like set those boundaries.
Yeah. Grailed is on List Perfectly. Allison, you may need to re-download.
Yeah.
You may need to redo your app because it's there.
Dupage Pick Air busting out the $5 super chat. First super chat of the new decade, because we're in the 2020s, guys. We're in the 2020s. A prosperous 2020 to everyone. He's not picking and choosing. He says everybody gets to have prosperous 2020.
Not just the nice people.
Only thing better than this show is getting sales during it. I'm assuming that means he probably got a sale. Anyway, thank you, Dupage Picaire,
who is soon to be a Las Vegas resident.
Not
Get on
soon
it.
enough.
Get on it.
Not soon enough.
We were hoping he'd be here for October, and then we were hoping he'd be here for Christmas. Now he's saying mid to late January. That's not that far away. That's
forever.
Not that far away.
That's forever.
Are you really that close, Fred? Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you
Tell
really?
us. Tell us. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Here's a little super chat. Super chat. Greg super chat. Yeah. You like that?
The harmonica. So here's the thing. We took the harmonica and gave it to our 5-year-old, our friend's 5-year-old child.
Yeah.
So
she got it. It was great. And then we started a band because I got a guitar for my Christmas present. And so we were over there for Christmas morning and she wanted us to start a band. She was very demanding. And she was forcing me to play.
And I was the backup dancer.
And she was forcing you to dance, although you weren't.
I'm like, I can't dance. You guys aren't.
You weren't even.
You guys aren't playing anything danceable.
What? Don't blame it on us just because you don't have dance in your heart. Okay. Anyway,
I saw that the bullhorn too. Hey, listen. There's nothing better than being the aunt that can annoy the crap out of the kids with the gifts and the parents. So, yep. Greg says his plan is to re-up his PayPal working capital so that he can get out here, and because he's just weeks away from paying it off. So well, there you go.
There you go. It's a little relocation cash. We're down with that. All
right. So Keeping It Beachy says, do you know when eBay Open tickets start? No idea yet. They generally start hyping it around March, and last year the tickets went on sale in April, I believe. So we got a bit.
Yeah, we got a little while.
We got a bit to go.
Anyway, we just have a few more minutes left in the show. So again, just another reminder, if any of you were wanting to get those yesterday's fits, specially curated vintage, mostly vintage reseller boxes, they are going to be dropping, as they say.
As the kids say.
As the kids say, they will be dropping at 1 p.m. today, Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have to go. I have the video linked that I put up yesterday. So you're going to have to go to that video, and then that's where you'll see the link to the actual, to where you can actually pick up one of those boxes. But watch the video so you can see the boxes being made and see some of the gold that's going to be in them.
Rick, we will not be on diets when you come to eBay Open this year, because here's the thing. My diet goal has me at 5 months or so before I get to my goal. So I won't be on a diet anymore. I'll be able to. I'll be able to indulge with you. We'll go somewhere good.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Let me see.
Jamie says maybe that should be one of my goals, working up the courage to go to Open. You should definitely come. And listen, guys,
I think you and Jen Lee should talk to one another, because I know Jen has been working up the courage to get out here too. Two people that are shy and have a difficult time socializing and getting out and working with other people. Jen, I'm not trying to call you out on this. I know you've said it a few times, but a lot of people are able to make it through that challenge by making a buddy.
Yeah.
So maybe you two need to.
Yep. And speaking of that, it's the beginning of the year. Now's a good time to maybe figure out a plan for setting aside a little cash if you want to be able to make it. And plus, not everybody that comes into town even goes to Open. I know it can be very expensive. Once you pay for the ticket, pay for your hotel room, all that stuff. Some people, there were quite a few people who came to Vegas during Open just to participate in all of the socializing and networking part of it, which honestly, for a lot of people, ourselves included,
we may or may not go to Open this
year. We'll definitely be around for all of the networking stuff and all of because there's so much stuff that goes on at night that's outside of the actual conference itself. And we will absolutely, I guess I can't say we absolutely be around because we don't know for sure the dates and if they're going to interfere with camp. But if we are in town, we will be participating and taking part in everything. We don't necessarily know that we're going to go to the event itself. There's a chance
we will see. That there is a chance because of the camp that Katie and I both volunteer at has pushed their date back a little bit this year because of leap year. There is a chance that it will overlap with eBay Open.
Yeah.
We have not heard the dates for eBay Open yet. As soon as we know, you'll know. But if the dates coincide, then obviously we won't be at open. So we'll let you guys know.
Yep. But if we are in town, we'll be around
and doing all
the
things.
Whether or not
the plan is to do another live show
itself,
there, and we'll figure it out. We've got a lot of things in the works this year for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Debbie's yelling at me for reminding people about the reseller boxes. She wants to make sure she gets one. She's gonna be there going, yeah. Anybody that comes near, yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Last time they were all gone in 10 minutes. Maybe this time, like I'll be like, oh, it was all just a one-time thing, and then these ones will just sit around and not get sold.
For a week. Yeah, you never know.
We'll be like,
yeah. So there's a lot of people, like I said, that are super shy to go to open. A lot of people don't know anyone in person the first time they go. I knew 2 or 3 people the first time that I went, and I will say that I'm not a shy person, but even I was shy. I was intimidated. I kind of stood back a bit and didn't really know anyone, and luckily I was with a couple of people that were super outgoing people, so otherwise I probably wouldn't have talked to anybody. But I met a few people there that became very good friends and continue to be good friends. So I've Lorna and I met for the very first time, the first open that I went to. And while she's a very outgoing person, I'm a very outgoing person. It takes both of us a little bit to talk to other people if we don't know them. And Katie is, if you meet Katie in person, Katie is a lot more reserved in person than she is on the show.
Until I get to know you.
It's like you flip a switch and she's on when she's on the show. But until you get to know her, I'm the talker.
Yeah.
I'm the talker out of the two of us in person.
When I'm comfortable with you and I know you, that I'm pretty much like I am on the show. Because this is the real me, maybe amped up 15%. But when I first am around people I don't know, I do tend to be a little bit quieter. So anyway, I see lots of people.
Yeah, and Deb Bradley was super shy at open. I only talked to her a handful of times, and we actually got to know each other better when we met in person and got to hang out. And now we've talked a lot. And I absolutely love Deb and Mel. And Deb was one of my favorite people that I met at open this year. And I'm so glad that we took the time to get to know each other, because she is kind of quiet. But I was like, I just like that person. So
how about Deb? You said Mel.
I said Deb and Mel. Oh
no, you said Deb. You said Mel was your favorite person you met at open.
Oh yeah, Mel wasn't there. Deb was one of my favorite people I met at open. Sorry.
But then you met Mel because of that. So
yes. Yes, Jijasa, we met you at the meetup in Arizona at Teresa's meetup. I remember you. So we had a lot of fun. I love meeting our stranger friends. I say that all the time. And every year we have more and more people come up to us. Now we've gotten to know a lot more people, and I recognize faces and names and things like that. But last year it opened, and the year before it opened, we were surprised by how many people came up to us that watched the show that we did not know, and that would say, hey, I watched your show. And I'm like, it's so weird. Yeah. Like, I know people feel like they know us, which is fantastic, because that's the point. You do know us, but we don't know you unless you interact with us a lot. We don't get to know the names, and we certainly don't get to know the faces. But I like the fact that we've met so many great people. So
yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We've got to go get some lunch, and we got to go do some grocery shopping, and then get back home and do some listing. At least that's my plan.
Today is a work day. I've got to take some pictures, and then I'm going to do some listing.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, make sure you go follow the link down below to go check out that
Jen,
video.
I have faith in you. Jen, if you're working with a doctor, and I'm reading her comments here, by the way, she has severe panic disorder and agoraphobia, not necessarily that she's shy. I didn't mean to downgrade or downplay what the issues that you deal with, but I think that you are going to get a handle on it. I think this year is your year. You're going to get a handle on it. And if we can help in any way, just by being here as your stranger friends, then that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. But make sure you go check out that video down below. You got 1 hour to make a decision if you're going to go get one of those boxes. Watch out for Debbie. She will cut you. It should be a lot of fun, but
she's little, but she's tough.
She's is
scrappy. That
you
one.
do not want to get on the wrong end of Debbie. Anyway, we love you guys, and we will see you on Sunday for Sunday live haul, and maybe around the Boss Facebook group if you like to hang out in there, or you can come harass us on Instagram. Whatever.
And happy new year, new decade, new goals, new challenges. Let's face it head on, and I'm excited. For this new year for a lot of reasons.
And if all this talk about List Perfectly makes you want to go check it out, make sure that you check out the referral link down below.
Oh yeah,
so they know we
get a couple pennies if you come from us, but they also
so they
want to know where you're coming from if you sign up.
Absolutely. So. Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.